You've seen the Ravens 3 times this year. They're going to get the Bills coming up in Buffalo this upcoming weekend. What Derrick Henry has added to the Ravens, it's so obvious that that it is a total difference maker for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. When you've been around this team, what have you felt, seen, observed over this year that makes the Ravens feel different than last season?
Conviction, a real belief that they have balance on their team, that they have Hall of Famers that they can lean on now. Flowers didn't play, as we know, in the wild card round, but a go-to wide receiver, a Pro Bowl wide receiver, which has not been the case in Baltimore during Lamar Jackson's run, even during Joe Flacco's run. There wasn't necessarily that go-to guy. They would spread it around, but now there's a feeling that you've got someone that you can really go to, that can handle the responsibility. And I do think how they have mixed in so many different pieces. Defensively, maybe they don't get as much credit as they used to, but you go player for player, and at every level of their defense, major playmakers, secondary got a lot of criticism, rightfully so. By their own admission, the secondary was not performing, and they recognized that they had to fix it. And you're seeing signs of that. A ball hawking defense, that's always been part of the equation, but now they're actually turning those into big plays, pivotal plays. And I think it's the team working in unison with one another. To me, they're the most dangerous team in the playoffs, believe it or not, even throwing Detroit into the mix just because of what they can bring on both sides of the ball, and because Derrick Henry has become such a difference maker and a friend to Lamar Jackson. Lamar doesn't have to do it all himself. They can establish the run in the line of scrimmage, and they can end you. They can get a lead, and they can pound the football, which we've seen time and time again this year.
So that's interesting. You consider the Ravens more dangerous to the Chiefs than the Bills?
I do. Love Buffalo. Love what they've done. I think they've done more with less. And obviously what they did against Denver, that's who they are. But I think Baltimore is the more dangerous of the two if you're going to go toe-to-toe in the postseason again in Kansas City. I know what the results said earlier in the season. I just think what they're doing today and the weapons on this roster, I would tell you that they are the more dangerous team and the more dangerous challenge.
Derrick Henry at the end of a season, especially in January, especially outdoors, he's going to play in Buffalo and then potentially in Kansas City in an AFC Championship game. Feels like none of those defensive players would want to have to stand in the way of that train. I mean, it certainly felt against the Steelers that there were Pittsburgh defenders that said, yeah, I don't really need this right now. Do you get that sense when you talk to people around the NFL?
It's a business decision. All these guys are big. They're physical. Damon, when we do these production meetings, it's either in the facility with the home team or it's at the team hotel for the road team. And look, I've been doing it a long time. These guys walk in the room. You've gotten used to the fact that these are impressive athletes. There are a select few that walk in that room, and you've got to do a second look. And Derrick Henry is one of those. We're like, how is this guy a running back? How does this guy run with the speed that he has, with the balance that he has, with the power that he has? Obviously, the stiff arm might go down as the best in NFL history. And you're right. Defensive players, really good safeties, hard tacklers, big hitters. You've got to make a split-second decision on how you want to approach it with Derrick Henry. And we've seen it. Guys have been embarrassed, including Pittsburgh and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's a Pro Bowl player. That's probably the toughest in-space one-on-one setup that you can have as a defensive player, because he can make you look foolish.